Hello, champions! Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. We're back here at this desk today. We've got a few little more things to do. Oh, don't fucking do that, Deno, you absolute spud. It makes a difference, I think, seeing the whole piece when you have this nice, smooth element on the front. I think it really makes a difference in how the whole scene is coming together. So, unfortunately, my impatience, as always, has cost me because I didn't wait until it had fully gone. You know what I'm like, I just glue things down and I started sanding before it was dry. So it's okay. I'm going to have to do 2 layers anyway. This is the one that I did yesterday. So yeah, I'm just going to have to be patient, let that dry till tomorrow, add another layer, continue letting things dry. Yes, but anyway, this is the scene. I literally can't zoom my camera back any further, but I've got a top-down view if you want to see that, which is just as big. G'day, Craigsog. Here's the top-down. No, that's my face. Look at that. It's gigantic. Here's my hands. Here's a PVA glue bottle, if that helps you with a bit of scale. What's something that everyone will have? Here's a friggin' super glue container. Let's go back to the other camera. Look at that. This is the scale. It's ginormous. It's outrageous. So here's what we're going to do tonight over here. So I'm sure you can all see underneath the... oh, we've pulled that off, have we? Good work, Deno. Maybe we'll pull that one off as well. Yep, good. I'm sure you can see underneath, we've got this cavernous area. Where's my little block thing? Well, what we're going to do tonight, this just continues to be, just continues to be a constant, there's always things to do. There's always things to do in a project like this. So you just got to chip away until you get stuff done. So the never-ending story. So that's what well, that's a bad angle for everyone, but let's try and make it a better angle. Yes. So this is the, oh, it's going to be so good when that's all dried and smooth. It's going to be so good. Can't wait. I'm just very impatient, I've got to tell you. I hate waiting for stuff to dry. It just is like my biggest pet peeve. Anyway, so this guy, we're going to create a rock pillar there. And we're going to use some of my bits collection to make it more interesting. And then we might just look through the remainder of these things and see if we can find a spot for them. I feel like I have not used enough of these little gargoyle things at all, so maybe we'll use some gargoyles. What do we think? Does this have a spot maybe? Turn around, look at what you see in her face. You can't see what I'm doing. Does that look good there? Yeah, I know. Impatience. The bane of my existence. Either that or my inability to connect with humans on an emotional level. One of those two. Yeah, feeling pretty reasonable about where we're at. The scene looks good. So there's just a few little elements I think we'll continue to add I've got plenty of gravestones. There are a couple of these gargoyles which I think might suit. These are little frames. I wonder if we could use one of those maybe in the underground area. Doesn't make a lot of sense, really. What about here? No. I should definitely use this one and this probably, because these were purchased in the Kickstarter elements. See, here's his helmet. That's a separate thing for another bit. These are all bits I've got 3D printed. So I've got plenty of gravestones for projects to come. There's no shortage on gravestones for the next little while. I've got this little bird. Sleepy slang. I wonder if the birdie goes here. I'll move this all forward so you can sort of see a little bit more. It's a difficult thing to fucking get in a single frame, let me tell you. Maybe I should move my camera back. No, I won't do that yet. Maybe the bird will go here. I got some skulls and another little bird in this little baggie. Skulls, 4 skulls, little bird. So we'll get some skulls put around. I guess we'll just step through. Won't be a long stream tonight, friends, again. That's what she said, Sleepy Slang. She being my girlfriend, who's probably watching right now. Aren't you, Emma? You little creeper. Make believe I'm everywhere. Is that? No, I haven't painted any models. Not at all. The model painting will come quite late in the piece for this one. It's just so large. Does that make sense? It does not. Does that make sense? Not really. Maybe we will stick with the plan for the tree there. Still got a tree. Yeah, so what did I want to achieve tonight? Well, I was really hoping this would be dried and ready to sand. I've gone early, it's not ready. So I just have to be patient, which everyone knows is my middle name. No, what we want to sort out tomorrow, hey All Might, welcome buddy. What we want to sort out tonight is this little area down here. Welcome friends, welcome to what will be a very unusual, odd stream. So we have one guy standing here. I'm well buddy, thank you for asking. And we're also going to have one little skeleton here rushing up towards the staircase, up through what will be a river. This is a river, so it's not going to be a very deep river. G'day Vulaya. Not going to be a very deep river at this point. I think I need to create a little rock lip here actually, so it makes sense, so that the water's just dribbling down there. As you can see, all this stuff now is starting to look just like background material, which is good. I'm going to use my filler to fill in the rest of the gaps. What I have to decide now is how much of this do I attach to this and just like work around it. Do I basically like make this a part of the base? Yeah, see, I reckon that'll work actually. And then we just put a gravestone wedged in here. Oh yeah, that can work. Hello friends, welcome. If it's your first time on stream, welcome. I normally paint cool models. I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm building a diorama, which is going to take a while, unfortunately, but we'll make do. We'll make do. All right, so I'm going to do that. So do I want to include this thing? No, that is not ideal. Do we want to include this thing here? No. Maybe. Here? Or better yet, here? No. Okay, do we want gargoyles on the staircase? Maybe that was an initial idea I had. Maybe we put some gargoyles on the staircase. What do we think about that? I quite like that. Maybe at like intervals, gargoyles on the interior of the staircase. Every second one. They're just little rocks, mate. Just little rocks from aquarium rocks that I got many years ago. They're just nice little rocks, a little bit of texture. Add some different scales, some different shape. I don't know if that works or not. Where do we go? Up the top. Yeah. I was sort of thinking of having them at the top here. Don't know if that works. What about here on the bridge, maybe? They're just gonna block the other dude. This part of the bridge. No, just little rocks. Maybe this is the spot. Yes. At the base of the entrance. Just one, maybe. Just one. Yep, I like that. Now which one do we want? These little ones are yelling the same. That one's like a griffin, don't like that. This one looks like it's shocked. Oh my goodness! Not that one. No, I think this horned one's good. This is a giant one, look at this one. Big lion, griffin thing. Alrighty. I don't think I've actually ever really televised this part of the project before. G'day, Chromonaut. Or this part of a project like this before. Because a lot of my time I just spend looking and thinking and trying to work out a way to make things fit. And if it's going to fit, if it's going to work, good. If it's not good. So we just continue changing the way we think about things until we find something that works. So let's glue this down. It's a very iterative process, this part of what I'm doing. Now you may be asking, Deno, what are you doing? You haven't glued that so his feet are connected. Yes, that's okay. The feet connection's not the most important bit. I can sculpt rocks for that. The most important bit is that I want this bit to touch up to this bit. Let's see if we can make that work. So that goes there. And that touches up there. Perfect. So, put a few more gravestones back here, I think. Submerged gravestones, as it were. Very good, I like that. And I think we will attach one more to this. So, gravestone here. Does that need to be attached? I think it does, because I'm going to swing it around. So this will be one of the first elements that I paint, the underground, because the next step after that is glued will be the resin pour. So this is going to be a little waterlogged cavern type area with rocks and things. Okay, so that fits very nicely. So does this fit in here? One oft considered element of dioramas. I'll answer that question in a second, champion. One oft considered thing about dioramas like this, or big things like this, is actually just gluing models down, or just putting models on the base. You know, you actually have to sometimes think about how they fit in. You can't glue too much down around them, otherwise it can create some problems. But I think we'll be okay if we glue this bad boy down. Like so. And this is probably the gravestone of our skeleton friend. Yeah, cool. So the material that I use on the ground, g'day Jared. The material that I've used on the ground is a material called Sculpt It. Sculpt It. Knead It is something else that I'll talk about in a second. And I will actually use Sculptamold, Sculpt It. Sculptamold's another name, American name for it. Maybe a little one in the ground, maybe. Yep, I like that. Yes, Sculpt It, and I will actually be mixing some up in a little bit to do some in this area. But it's kind of like plaster, I guess. It's got that mixed with water plastery thing. Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna mix up a tiny little bit more, and we're actually gonna turn this upside down. Yeah. And we're gonna paper mache some of this roof area. Not a lot, because we don't actually need to worry too much about it, because the roof is not going to get a lot of visibility. Just enough, I think. We'll just do a little bit. Yes, gravestones. Let's use this one down the back. All right, one thing that I've been trying to keep track of and doing a pretty bad job of is how much super glue. Not so much, mate. I spent last week in Hobart, and at the moment, this week, pending. This is my 5th super glue container. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of this stuff. It's definitely too big for that. I've tried using it on figures before, on basing of figures, and it is just it's not really the right size for that type of work. So I'll show you in a second. I've used it on bases for display figures. But yeah, this stuff, it's just not. Well, this is what it looks like up close. Is my camera on autofocus? It might not be an autofocus. This one is. I'll show you this one. Yeah, so this is it's just like paper mache, but it is quite rough. It stays quite clumpy, but it's very hard to get smaller, finer details. So I'll actually grab something. I'm just going to do this first. This is just a little bit of knead it just to secure those things that I've glued down more securely. And then we'll mix up some stuff and I'll show you how it works. G'day Ajdal. Yeah, this diorama is based on some very cool models from Chimera. And so these ones are kind of like classic necromancer, undead vibes, facing off against some good guys, some clerics and some wizards and witch hunter types. So that's kind of the vibe we're going for. It's an elaborate scene. We've got we've got 14 models for this one. You'll love to see it. All right, let me mix this. I'll go back to this other camera now, and I'll grab some stuff. I'll actually show you as I mix it. Try to. Hope you can still hear me. I'm having to go grab some of my mixing cups. Fill up one of my mixing cups with water. So I've just got a big box just off camera. Can't really see. Actually, maybe I'll switch to the other view, the one that I got in trouble with. Yeah, old school Games Workshop Warhammer. How good is it? Haha, yes, this is, I'm going to go around the other side. Sculpt it. So I bought a massive tub of it because it's the only way you can buy it. It comes in, what is it, 5 kilos? No, 10 kilos. That's the smallest. So it's kind of just like this powdery stuff. All right, there you go. So that's just sitting over here. Isn't this fun? All right, I'll turn that one off. Boom, I'm back. So, water. So what I'll demonstrate now is the mixing of it and the actual application of it. So, it's very good. It's very good stuff, and I'm probably not using it as well as I should or could. But I guess I'm relatively inexperienced when it comes to like big dioramas. That's how do I say that in a way that doesn't sound stupid? Big dioramas that aren't like this. There's obviously not many people doing dioramas like this with 75mm models. Most people are making big dioramas are doing it with like tanks and, you know. Proper dioramas. Well, not proper dioramas, but I'm just not very good at making videos. So yeah, this is what you get. It's not very usable on a small scale. You know, you can't really tweak the detail that much, and it's hard to mix up small quantities. I don't know. If you were really dedicated, I reckon you probably could use it for figures. Don't know. Haven't experimented enough with it. It does dry very hard. It's called Sculpt It, Jared. So what I've seen other diorama makers use on the internet is they mix this stuff up and then they put giant clumps of it out on the thing, and then as it starts to dry, you can actually smooth it out with water, and actually smooths to quite a smooth thing. So it's very good for building up big areas of volumes, which is good. But what it doesn't do very well is small details. So why did I mix this up? Oh yeah, I wanted to just put some around there. So what we can do with it is actually use a brush to smooth it out, which you'll see when I start to do that. It works quite well. One thing that is quite interesting that's happened with it though, that I've found, when this material attaches to something that is absorbent, such as other dried stuff or wood, it tends to dry the material out very quickly. It's quite a phenomenon, quite interesting. I suppose it's probably not that interesting, but it happens. And here's my big fucking brush. So yeah, this little bit that I attached just before has already started to harden because the moisture's been absorbed by the other kneaded that's sort of around it. So you have to keep it moist to be able to work with it. But yeah, it's good stuff, don't get me wrong. It's excellent product. Every diorama that I've done so far, the bigger scale ones, has included a lot of this. The other stuff that I use is actually just filler, just multi-purpose filler, which I've got some here. How are we going to attach this to this bit? Dunno. A bit of PVA maybe. This is the very non-glamorous stuff, friends. This is the stuff that happens that I've done off camera to help get my dioramas looking really cool off camera. So this is what the real meat and potatoes of building gigantic dioramas is little fucking shit like this. And lots of it. Yeah, it's just the roof, isn't it, Dano? Does it make sense to turn this upside down, Dano? Yeah, it's like being a little teenager again. Does this make sense? Maybe? Not so much, you idiot. Maybe. I'll be up for a new tablecloth very soon, by the way. This doesn't actually need to be even. It just needs to have some textured elements. Surely that's just PVA that I just used there, which is just white wood glue. Elmer's. No, buddy, that's not something I do normally. No, I just attach this stuff. What I will do after I've let this dry is I'll do a couple of sealant coats with PVA, watered down PVA, and then sometimes using some filler as well, just to seal everything once it's all dried, of course. And part of the downside of this kind of approach is nature is very much not straight lines. So this element, which is on a flat surface, i.e. a tablecloth and a chunk of wood, is never going to be that flat in real life. But because of the constraints of having a solid base to work from, it needs to be attached to something. So I'm trying to create as much variation at this point as I can. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, non-glamorous, non-exciting. This is what my dioramas, anyway. This is what I spend a lot of time doing. This whole base has taken me well over a week so far. Yeah, there's a couple of great people on YouTube that I really enjoy following. So I think I've mentioned this on stream before, right? And this will sound absolutely arrogant and absolutely ridiculous, but I'm going to say it anyway because that's what you'll come here for. But most of the people that I watch on YouTube, I'm a better miniature painter than them. And so it sort of infuriates me a little bit that, they obviously make far better videos than me. That's not even a conversation. But yeah, it's just like, if I could, oh, Deno, what are you doing? Come back. No. If I could make videos half as good as I could paint, I'd have 1 million subscribers. I can't. But yeah, so Boyle Hobby Time, he does some great stuff. There's a dude called Studson's Model Studio, he does great stuff. Nerd Forge makes some interesting stuff. Obviously Luke Towan, Boulder Creek Railroad, he does great stuff. Yeah, there's lots of good little diorama things on. I'll tell you another great one that I took a lot of inspiration for Neon Nights, which was Mog's Workshop. He's a cool dude. Made fucking awesome videos about a scene, like a cyberpunk scene. Absolute superstar. Yeah. So those should give you some inspiration if you haven't seen those yet. And I don't know that I need to do too much more at this point in time. Got a little bit of leftover stuff. Yeah, if you want some that I regularly go back to, Studson Studio did a build on Howl's Moving Castle, which I've watched about 5 times. It's just a fantastic example of how you don't have to have a lot of money to make this sort of stuff. The way that I do it, you probably have to have a little bit, but the way that he does it, it's not about money. He just uses all sorts of cool bits. Howl's Moving Castle, fantastic. Yeah, as I said, Mog's Workshop, he does that great Neon Knights version style diorama, cyberpunk diorama, really fantastic. Boyle Hobby Time, he's pretty well known. He does some cool stuff. It's cool. It's a cool place to go for inspiration, for ideas and ways to do things like this. Because I've come at it from the opposite end, I guess. A lot of people go, yeah, I really want to make dioramas, and they go, yeah, cool, I'm going to make some dioramas. And then they learn how to paint figures because they want to make dioramas. I've actually come at it from, I paint figures, and then I want to make dioramas because I paint figures. But what that means is I do tend to think about things a lot differently to, I guess, diorama builders. You know, I very much put the figures at the, putting them at the forefront's not actually a good way of describing what I'm trying to say, the difference with what I do, but I have a different lens to diorama builders, and sometimes that is a bad thing. Like when I'm thinking about painting, you know, most of those diorama builders, just need to wash my hands, friends, while I continue talking. Most of the diorama builders I've watched, they use a lot of, they'll paint a rock grey and then they'll add a black wash and then they'll dry brush grey. And that's how they do rocks. And as we know, miniature painters, rocks are very rarely grey. You know, rocks have a lot of interesting colours, and just painting rocks grey is kind of like a boring way to do rocks. They very rarely have a lot of contrast in those things. It's generally just black washes, and that's it. So my point that I'm making is, when I paint stuff, the bases, I don't often go straight to the black wash for rocks, which a lot of those guys do. This is filler. This is great stuff. It's not when you do what I just did with it, which is not stick it properly. Anyway, I feel like I've just been bagged the shit out of fucking diorama dudes on YouTube. That's a very, very shit approach from me. I love watching them. I spend most nights watching YouTube videos on dudes making dioramas. Dudes and dudettes. So I'm constantly inspired by them. But the thing that excites me is trying to think of ways to do things better. So yep, this is just filler. It works really well when you dry it, when you use a brush to create some texture. You do need to be patient. You do need to be patient with this stuff, which is again one of my weaknesses. So this takes days sometimes to dry when you do it as thickly as I have. If you can just leave it be, it'll usually dry mostly. Try and not do as thick as I do sometimes, it'll dry quicker. But yeah, it generally creates a pretty tight, firm seal. Yeah, a lot of this is just me regressing back to my childhood and playing with my toys. This can create an interesting texture too with your brush strokes. Build up some layers. That'll stop the foam from degrading when you spray paint it. Yeah, so we probably only got about an hour in us tonight, friends, because this is just a very time-consuming process that takes patience. So we do a bit, we leave it for a day, we come back and do some more bits, and we keep doing that until eventually we have a diorama. What I can tell you is that the models are all assembled. I was going to do the gap filling on those tonight, but I instead did not. I instead came to do this instead, mostly because this is what I'm excited about doing at the moment. So that's what I'm doing. Always good to follow the muse. I think we've talked about that multiple times. Is that about it? Yeah, I think so. We might just leave that at this angle so that these clumps can dry. And I'll put the rest of these back in here. Probably need one or two more of those things. So keep them nearby just in case. Yeah, so the last thing I want to do, come on, doofus. We'll just do this. We'll just create some little. Yeah, mate. All the miniatures have a spot now. Everyone has a location on the thing. They're all over at my other desk, so I'm not going to put them all on there. But if you go and look at yesterday's stream, which that reminds me I haven't actually uploaded yet, you'll actually see where they all end up. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's coming along. So 14 models, all have a location, all tell one consistent story. There's a few ones where I haven't quite settled on the what's around them. Like a lot of the church stuff I haven't settled on. But everything else, it's good to go. So I'm just using my favourite hard putty just to keep these elements tight. Well, Incentium, it's a great question. I've tried to be pretty open about how much I sell my stuff for. Mostly because I think we need to, as an art community, get better at valuing these things. Valuing the work and the effort. So yeah, we've been up over 10K for most of these dioramas. Is the answer to that question. Now, I spoke a lot at length yesterday on the stream that I did yesterday about how I don't make these dioramas with the express intention of selling them. Right, that's not why I do it. I make these dioramas because it's cool, because that's what I want to do. And I think that is a really important point to make, because if I was making them just to sell them, it could be a disappointing time for me if they weren't well received and no one was willing to pay that amount. But I've been fortunate in that they have been purchased, and yeah, generally well received. And yeah, so I try to work on, ballpark an hourly rate for all of my work. So if I have a project that takes me, 6 hours, I try to get roughly around $50 an hour for my time. So that means most of my projects, which are 6-ish hours, 6 to 8 hours, usually 200-300, plus then the cost of the model, plus the cost of shipping. So generally the stuff that I paint is usually between 300 to 500, including all costs, start to finish, which I think puts me at pretty much the lowest end of display painters in the world, which is good, because that's probably where I belong. But when you have 14 models on a project like this, and you spend the amount of time that I've spent on this base already, I'm sure you can see how the numbers rack up very, very quickly. So I generally keep track. I think, this one. So yeah, if we work at 14 models at say 5 hours a model, 5 by 10 is 50, 5 by 4 is 20. So that's 70 hours, 70 by 50, 3,500 for the models alone. The models themselves cost, I think, about 1,800, so that's 5K. All the other 3D printed bits, all the other bits, I think ballpark we're at 6 or 7, just for, the time and the cost of materials. And that sort of doesn't account for what is, I guess the thing that you're paying for with artists, with art, which is that, unique, creative different thing that each artist has or brings. So that looks nice. Yeah. So we'll be looking for somewhere in that ballpark if we get to the end and I decide to sell it, which I'm sure, given that that's what I've done with every other project I've done in the last 5 years, will be the case. But maybe it won't sell. Maybe it'll sit in my cabinet and it'll look fucking sick. You've all seen my cabinet. There it is. Guess what? It's got a whole fucking shelf ready to go. And what I'm going to do right now is grab this and show you the fucking size of it so you can get a sense of how big the fucker is. Here we are. This big Deno live from my house. Hopefully this doesn't make bits fall down. Here's my cabinet. You want to know the funny bit? This isn't even all of it. Let me get the other bit. It's good stuff. I know. Oh, there's so much left to do. There's so much left to do. So that top piece, I need to build a foam board back to the church. I need to do the roof shingles on top of the church. Yeah. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Is there anything else I can do right now, or do I need to just be patient at this point and let everything dry? I think it's probably time for some patience, friends. We'll just let that dry, I think, and then I'll continue doing the sides and the sanding of the edges, get a nice smooth side. Then we'll add the sand, the dirt, which you can already see has happened on these areas. And just for those that weren't here yesterday, so I actually just used dirt from my garden for that. Just dirt. Thank you, Insantium. Yes, it's the whole collection. I've got my Black Knight finished now too. He's in there. And the Frog Dog, I've been charged for the Frog Dog. So, yeah, come on. It's going to be good. Yeah, and then in this area here, so this is going to be the riverbed. I think I'm probably just going to leave that relatively smooth. Maybe we'll add some rocks, some of the rocks on the base. I've got quite a few little... this goes here too. I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure it's not that interesting. But yeah, I've got these ones. These containers, this Chinese container I've literally had for 25 years. I was telling everyone about it yesterday. This is a old school bad boy. I did dry it out, Jared, yes. So this is just some stuff. So this will probably go in the riverbed because there's some other bits of rock in there. So yes, I'll put that on the riverbed, I think. The rest, so this stuff, I'm basically aiming for it to be rock, which is the sculpted, sorry. This is obviously the ground, the dirt. So we will add some grass. We're just going to paint that ground and then we'll add the grass elements over the top, just like they do in the Diorama videos. Yeah. And yeah, the last thing I need to decide on is a tree, actually, if we're going to go for the tree there. I think we got 2 spots we could put the tree. Let's bring it a little closer so everyone can have a look. Isn't this great fun? It would be good with a dry brush set. Literally, I was sitting here looking at it for about an hour today. Just like trying to understand and visualize and think about the timing of things and how long it's going to take to do this. And So if that's going to take that, what do I need to do first? You know, like that's, all of those things are just constantly going through my mind. Am I covering up more of the space under the stairs? It is going to be left that open, I think. I may do one more tight or stalagmite there that I think will make sense. I want it to look like a cavern underneath the church, of a cave. No, definitely. I've got a whole video of the construction of this so far. I also filmed myself assembling every model, and pretty much everything that you've seen so far, or that you can see here, I have filmed and will be putting together as a video. It's probably not going to be very good though. This is the thing I'm realising, right? I was trying to do some editing of the video today. Maybe I can show you my window. My screen. Let's go have a look at my screen. G'day, Tobes. What's happening, champion? Let's go and have a look at this project. This is great. This is all happening live. I love it when I just get loose like this and just fucking start doing weird shit. Window capture. You can see what's happening in the background. Boom. Let's put my head above it so you can see me. Hey, hey, here he is. It's me. So this is what... Well, let's turn my head off. That's a bad look. Get out of here. Yeah, so this is the program I'm using. It's not as good as the ones that the pros use, I know, but it's pretty good. Anyway, yeah. So this is what I've put together so far, right? So I've got buck tons of material, and that's not even all of it, but I'll show you a little bit. Yeah. So I'm just going, okay, cool. So I'm going to talk about my ideas. So I've cut together some footage of me looking at this, and then I pulled a bit from the stream where we did the drawing. Right, great. And then I've got a video of me grabbing everything out and just like plonking on the table because it's a really stupid amount of stuff to be doing. It's quite funny actually. Yeah, this is one of my favourite things. Yeah, good. Happy with that. Spent about 2 hours on that shot. Good work. Because what I've also done is I've also got that shot from a different angle. So I can cut in between the two shots. How good is that? Great stuff. Anyway, and then here's me trying to work out how interesting this element is. Do I just do sections of it? Do I speed it up? You know, like what am I doing? Do I cut each one bit by bit and show each model? Is that even interesting? I don't know. You know, that's the thing. So anyway, here's a bit of the planning. Look at that. I'll just mute that in case I'm talking at the time. But look at that. That is me with nothing on that base. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool. G'day, Plank. Yeah, I probably should. See, I'm planning it out. I draw stuff out. Yeah. I've got it all. I've got it all on... I've got so many hours of stuff so far. What can I show? So this is... Yeah, that's that. This is me with the... planning it all out. Look at that. You can see all of the various ideas. What's this bit? Oh yeah, this is me just building my church out of all the bits. Let me open up my diorama folder and we'll have a look at how many other bits of footage I've got. All right, let me grab all of these and plonk them in here. Yeah, look, it's not very interesting at this point in time. You really need a voiceover explaining what's happening, talking about. Yeah. What is this bit, Dano? Oh, yeah, this is me building the church and putting it on top, waiting for stuff to dry, planning everything out. Let's get up. What's this bit up here? What's this bit here, Dano? Yeah, so it's gonna take hours and hours and hours of editing. Yeah, that's the thing. I've got about an hour and a half of just me assembling models. Nobody wants to watch me. Look at this. This is how I made the staircase. It's actually quite cool. So I made it out of sticks. Did I actually have that bit on? Did I have the bit with the sticks in there? I've recorded everything, so I just got to find the bit with the sticks. Is this it here? That's me using the knead it. Look at that. We got Mossy in there. Mossy's hands. She's doing some stuff there.
Nice one.
Good one, because it's further away.
Yeah.
Good one. And then, where did I build the sticks? No, I did that somewhere else. Maybe I haven't even transferred over from the camera yet. Look at that. I made I just added knead it straight on top of those bits of alfoil and sticks. Then just smoothed it out. Boom. Steps. It's genius. Yeah, a few shots of each model. Mid-assembly is probably the go. That's the wrong shot, Dano. This one. Hey. Yeah, a few shots of each model. Mid-assembly was what I ended up landing on as well. So I've got about, yeah, I think it's about 3.5, 4 hours of model assembly filmed. It's not necessary. But I've built everything that you see here. It's gone through iterations where we've changed our mind on things, you know, and then came up with a solution. I had to work out where each of the models went, you know, what made the most sense for them. We obviously had our original vision, so working on the original vision and then trying to extrapolate that out into what you see in front of you. Yeah, and we're still working through some of those challenges now. I mean, this element down here, everything down here was all sort of just a nebulous idea. You know, does it make sense for this to just be hanging like that? We should probably have a stalactite there, but that then cuts off visibility for this element. And so maybe it's better to just leave it a little bit hanging because it'll look better visually, even if it looks slightly askew. So those are the things that I want to try and talk about as I'm recording, like the voiceover and doing my headshots where I'm like, blah, 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 this is cool, do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's, yeah, it's going to be a big process, friends. It's going to be a big process just to edit it. That's going to take me hours and hours. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it today. I was like, yeah, I'll get started on the editing today. Did not get very far. I'm sure other people write scripts and what have you, but that's not for me. I'm not a script guy. I'm just going to wing it, just like I do my projects. All right, that's going to be us for tonight. This is rubbish. This is keep. This is keep. We'll need that for tomorrow. We might keep those there. That can go in the container of bits. Yeah, he's doing all right, mate. Don't get to see him as much these days, but he's having a good life. He's a happy little guy these days. He's living in a house now, so he's got a backyard that he can run around in, which he absolutely loves. So yeah, he's having a good time. Happy little guy. Looked after him a couple of months ago. It was it was good. All right, friends. Well, I'm just going to leave this to dry for the night, and then come back tomorrow and do more of the same. I reckon by this week, this weekend, we will be probably done the bulk of this. We'll still have little bits and pieces to do, but we'll probably be done the bulk of this. And so we'll be on to model preparation. So we'll be gap filling and getting the models ready for painting. And then I think we will take a couple of shots of all the models on the base at the one time, the whole thing, one big go before we start painting. And I might do that to be the first video. Because I think I'm going to do 2 videos. One video on all of the construction of everything, and then one video on all of the painting. And then I'll edit it into a super video that will allow me to retire. All right, friends, that's it. Hope you all have a fantastic week. I will catch you all again on the weekend. Stay safe. You're all champions. Be down. Out.